Well, our native plant landscape has really matured since the last time it was visited, and the majority of the color that you're seeing is from one particular flower, which happens to be our state wildflower, Indian Blanket or Gaillardia. Now, the name Indian Blanket is associated with an Indian legend, and the legend goes that a gentleman, an Indian, was a blanket maker, and he was so popular that people would travel from miles around to trade with his blankets. But he realized that he only had a short time to live, so he decided he would weave his own burial blanket. And after his death, his family did bury him in that blanket for a gift to the spirits. And the story goes also that the following year that the spirits were so pleased with the blanket that these flowers appeared in the graveyard that happened to be the color of the blanket that he weaved, which again is the colors of an Indian blanket, our state wildflower, which are yellows and browns and reds. So it's an interesting legend, and again it's a beautiful flower that covers the entire state, and it blooms anywhere from, say, late May through August and a little bit later, depending on where you're at in the state. But as with any native plant, they need to be planted in the right condition, in the right spot. So if you take them from full sun, always plant them in full sun. But these have been improved after many years, and so there's all kinds of hybrids. As a matter of fact, we have 9 different cultivars planted here in our studio gardens, and we counted over 20 that are available out on the market. And let me show you some of the new ones that are out. This particular one happens to be referred to as Gaiety Mixed, and anytime you see mixed in a common name, it tells you that it's a pretty wide range of colors and shapes and sizes, and you can see that. We still have the same color scheme, but we have what is called a semi-double as well as a double flower over here, which is a yellow, and again this is in the Gaiety Mix series, and you can tell that these are quite tall, probably reaching 2 feet, and will get a little bit taller. On over here is one called Fuchsia Shine, and it's a little bit different in that it's the bronzy red color with a yellow center, and that's a very attractive, a little bit different. But if you're trying to think what the native one looks like, this is the best representation. You can see the petals again are red with a yellow on the edge and a red and yellow center. This is still in the Gaiety Mix series, but this one is closely related again to our native one. The difference is it's a little bit bigger flower than the native one that you're going to see across the state. Now we can also go into a solid color again. This one is a little bit shorter, you'll notice. It's a grandiflora, so that usually means it's a much bigger flower, but the Goblin series means it's dwarfer, and this is Golden Goblin. You'll also find just Goblin cultivar by itself that we have over in the perennial garden that's probably, oh gosh, 8–10 inches tall. It's much shorter, but again very similar to the native one that you'll find in the state. Back here is another solid color that's a reddish color. Red Plume is this particular one. Again, it's a double, a little bit taller than the Goblin series, but there's also a yellow Plume that's a little bit shorter, and again it's solid with a double. Now the thing you need to remember with any Gaillardia that you purchase is that it's really grown as an annual, and it reseeds itself, so it will come back year after year, and we think of it as a perennial even though it reseeds. So that means instead of doing a lot of deadheading, you need to leave some of them so they'll reseed back into the spot that you planted if you want it to continue to grow there. Now this particular one we're growing as an annual, so we'll dig them up even, and we'll do a little bit of deadheading just to keep it a little bit neater in appearance. But the seed is easy to find. These specialty ones are hybrids that we have. We ordered through the mail through a couple of seed catalogs, Thompson and Morgan and Cook's, ones that we use pretty often here with some of our display gardens. But the native one you can find at garden centers, and it's readily available through mail order wildflower seed companies too. And really, to establish Gaillardia, that's the best way to do it, is just purchase the seed and plant them in the fall, or start transplants even in early spring, which is what we've done here. Now these are beautiful flowers, and I'd like to take you over and introduce you to a guest who's going to show us how we can preserve these beautiful flowers in a children's project actually for years to come.